Today is Monday.
Tuesday's spaghetti, Monday's spring.
You remember. All right. So today we're going to be teaching you how to teach a classroom of kindergartners how to teach or how to do the art docent lesson. Today is Monday. Before you come in to work with the kids are probably at a recess ahead of time or lunch. You're going to start setting up for them. You're going to need the template and a paper clip, and you're going to attach it to a 9 by 12 piece of paper, one for each student, and set it out at their desk with a black Sharpie. When the students come in or they're given over to your control, you want to take them over to probably the rainbow rug and sit down with them. At that point, you will introduce Eric Carl, his art style of collage, and you can start off by asking the kids if they're familiar with The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and almost all of them know this story, and they might know some other stories by Eric Carl as well. Then you will, you see 3D, that's fabulous. Okay, next, wait, thank you. Then you're going to read the story with them, and there are little hand motions that go with each day as they learn about a different food. And the kids are going to get up and do those hand motions with you, and there's music to go along with it. And we'll have a different portion of this DVD to explain how to do that. While you're doing that with the kids, the helper docents are, like I said, putting these out at the tables. It's a good idea to either have scratch paper down so the Sharpie doesn't go through onto the desk and the starch can get a little sticky. Or you can cover the tables with just a roll of white paper. We do not set up the tissue paper or the starch for the children at this time. You set it up on a back table or a back counter and have it ready to go for later. All right. And so it might be easier if you have it already paper clipped for the kids as you set it down, or have it at their seats and they'll come and sit down. Yes, we're going to paper clip it. The paper clip makes it easier for kindergartners to trace around the template. Without the paper clip, the template tends to slide and the lines don't match up. So go around and make sure they're all paper clipped together.
And they're just off on the bottom, and the fins are a little different.
The fins are a little different, and they have different fish as well.
Fish. Some have one fin, some have two.
So after they get it paper clipped, they need their black Sharpie. I'll wait for you, Charlie. Oh wait, you wanted the other one. Sorry, we needed the same fish. All right, so boys and girls, now we're going to trace our fish. So open up your Sharpie, put the lid on the back so we don't lose the lid. And go ahead with your Sharpie, you're going to trace around the outline of your fish. And if it's not exactly along the outline, that's okay. There's a spot where mine got a little bit bigger. And that's okay, because each fish is unique, just like you are. And then you can lift it up, take your template off, and oop, I see a little spot where my lines didn't connect. I can just do that myself. I can just fill in that gap. All right? Boys and girls, what do we always put on our paper?
Name.
Our name. We aren't going to do it on the front of our fish. We want to put it on the back, and we're going to use a pencil for that. So when you are all finished tracing your fish, take the lid off the back, put it on the front, and listen for that click. So it closes, and you can hold yours up in the air like this, and one of our parent helpers, our docent helpers, will come by, and they will give you a pencil. All right, I see somebody's ready.
Put your pen up in the air.
I see Charlie's ready. He's got his pen up. He's ready for a pencil. Good listening.
Fish.
You know what? our art docent helpers will collect the fish and the paper clips, so you can just set those to the side. Now when we go to write our name, turn your paper over. And if you hold it up, you can kind of see the line of your fish. We want to put our name right in the middle because we're going to be cutting our fish out afterwards. And if we have it up on the ends, when we cut it off, hold your pen up if you're ready.
You need
Do your
another
best job. We don't want to put our name up here because it will get cut off. We don't want to use a marker because it will show through our artwork. Thank you for sharing your pencil. That was very thoughtful.
Sophia, can you share your pencil with Emma?
At this point, now that the boys and girls all have their fish traced and their names on the back, you would call them back over to the rainbow rug to talk about how to apply the tissue paper with the starch. We're going to do it right here for our purposes today. The children will not have access to the bowls of tissue or the containers of starch until you bring them back to back to their own desks. Grab the paintbrush. Thank you. All right, boys and girls, we're going to be doing a form of collage. That was the art style that Eric Carle used. Sometimes he finger painted paper and cut it into pieces and used it. Sometimes he overlapped different pieces of tissue paper to get his really vivid and unique designs. Today we're going to be using tissue paper. We're going to start by applying a little bit of starch. We don't want it dripping off, so we're going to kind of tap it to the side. And we're going to pick one section of our fish to paint. And you can't even see it, it's really clear.
I can see it.
Can you see it? It's shiny. And I'm going to take a piece of tissue and I'm going to tap it down with my finger. See how I went outside the lines? Remember, do you see how I went outside the lines? That's really important in this lesson because when we're all done, on another day we're going to be cutting out our fish. So we're going to overlap our outline. Okay? And now my area, it's not that wet anymore, so I'm going to put a little bit down again and a little bit over the top of the color I just did. And now I'm going to pick a new color. I'm going to use yellow. Watch what happens when they overlap. Does it make a little bit of a different shade where they overlap each other?
Not really.
What color do you see, Emma?
Orange.
Do you see it makes orange? That's right. So we are color mixing here.
It looks like a dark red.
It's a darker red to you?
Yeah, it looks like a whitish. It's red orange.
It does. Can you sit down now, please? Thank you.
I think
On my finger is some of the ink from the tissue. This does bleed, and the color will come off on your hands. We don't want to wipe it on our clothes because it may not come off on your clothes. So when we're all finished with our lesson, we'll wash our hands. Okay? So we're going to continue wetting little areas and overlapping. And we'll get different colors. We don't want any white to show on our fish. We want to color our whole fish. You might choose to do, these are all reds. So we have our warm color palette that we're using. Peyton, can you put your paper down while I'm talking? Thank you. Never fails. And if it's a little dry, you can give it a little, leave it, sit. Thank you. It's okay. So we're going to continue in this fashion until we cover our whole fish. All right? If we get it too wet, the tissue paper and sometimes even the white paper will rip and tear, so you don't want it to be super wet. Okay? Now for the art docents, there are two different techniques you can do for the fish. And I realized as we started going, I didn't talk about that. Some art docents, okay, thank you. Some art docents choose to have the kids add details to their fish, an eye, a mouth, fins, scales, that sort of thing, with the Sharpie beforehand. Some teach it afterwards. If you do it before, sometimes the black tends to bleed. It's really, I think, a personal choice. It doesn't matter to me. Here's an example of one all the way finished where they added those details afterwards. So I think either way is just fine. When the parents come around, you'll pass out a dish of tissue for the children to share, as well as starch to share. When you're prepping those materials, please put just a little bit of starch in. You can always add more starch. But once the starch gets used, it kind of gets discolored from the tissue paper, so you can't really put it back in. So go ahead and start with a little and add more as they need it. At this time, sit down please. All right, boys and girls, go ahead and dip your paintbrushes in the starch. Get your paintbrush wet, and let's paint just one little section, maybe a fin or a tail or the face. And then go ahead and start adding your tissues. At this point, the parent docents are going around encouraging the children about how they place their colors, reminding them about not too wet. And sometimes you'll find some of the boys and girls get a little discouraged. It can be a long process to get from one end all the way to the other end of the fish, especially for kindergartners.
It's not for me.
And if some of the paper is a little bit dry and peeling up, you can have them just gently tap their brush on top of the drier tissue. You might need to point out if there's a little spot that is white to go back and get it. And also to really encourage them to go across the black outline and overlapping colors. A lot of this is just kind of encouraging them at this point. As the kids get going and are quite comfortable with the process, you can turn the music back on. Sometimes I like to sing along as they're doing it. And you'll also find that there'll be some kids who go zip and they're done before you know it. And in that case, they can go back to the rainbow rug where you have the book set up where they can look through or read the different Eric Carle books. I believe there'll be a little miniature Today's Monday book where it has the words of the story underneath and a blank spot, and they can draw, make their own illustrations for the book, practice reading it with a partner. And usually the classroom teacher will have materials for you so you can do that on the rug. Because there's always somebody who finishes it. And then they can take that home and they can practice reading it or singing it to family. And then at the very end, one of the nice things to have the children do is to hold up their completed artwork, not in front of their face, but over to the side, and then they all get an opportunity to look at how an artist can do the exact same project, but everybody's turns out a little bit different. It's unique to their own style. So a couple of quick reminders, make sure they write their name in the back in pencil, overlapping the tissue paper, not too wet, and don't wipe fingers on your flips.
And not too much starch.
At the very end of the lesson, we're going to make sure that we pass out to the kids our art docent sticker, so cautiously. It says, ask me about today's art docent lesson, and the kids get to wear that. And then hopefully when they go home, their parents wrap that on your shirt. And they can say, we had this great lesson. Emma's mom came in and they taught us how to do this. We read a story. And hopefully that will encourage our parents to be active participants in our art docent program. Whether it's coming in and helping with the lesson or writing a check. I think we're good.
I think we're good. We just don't have enough. Like maybe you could put your face down.
I'm going to trade it out for you. We'll just set you over here.
Yeah,
Next
we
slide.
have another lesson to do too.
You have one, Peyton?
Yep, you've got one.
Here.
Okay.
And then
The times that I've been involved, the parents are no. Boys and girls, why don't you hold up your finished collage and you can take a look at how your neighbor did theirs, the colors they used, the way they decorated. And here's an example for our art docents at home. After these have had a chance to dry, the classroom teacher will either cut them out herself or have the kids cut them out, and then they put them on some sort of background and add other embellishments for a wonderful art bulletin board. Thanks.
Great job, kids.
Great
And once you
artist.
hold up your painting, then you're going to get a sticker.
Thank you.
So everyone who's holding up their painting is going to get a sticker saying, "Ask me about today's art lesson." So Emma's holding up.
What's
her-
something you can tell us about the art lesson today, Emma? Did you have fun?
Okay, well Charlie's holding up his. What's something you can tell us about the art lesson today, Charlie?
It was fun.
It was fun? Okay, great. Madison's holding up hers. What can you tell us about the art lesson today? It was fun?
Does anybody remember what type of art you were doing?
Come on.
Collage.
Collage. Great, Charlie. Peyton's holding up his. What did you like about the art lesson? Okay, you can have a sticker anyways.
Colors. What did Sophie like?
It was fun.
It was fun.
Oh, good. We want art to be fun.